Welcome to C.Tube, where ancient Chinese strategy meets modern life. Through timeless tales of power, wisdom, and intrigue, we decode the art of decision-making, self-awareness, and navigating the complexities of career and life. Let history be your greatest teacher. In today's story, we journey back to the late Eastern Jin dynasty, where a brilliant general stood at the height of power, yet faced a choice that would define not only his legacy, but the future of the empire. More than just a tale of conquest and court intrigue, this is a story about ambition, restraint, and the peril of choosing the wrong purpose. Let's step into the moment and see what it reveals about how greatness is measured not by how high we rise, but by what we rise for. Part 1. Born for Greatness. From the moment Huan Wen was born, it seemed destiny had marked him for greatness. The renowned scholar Wen Chao once looked upon the infant and declared that the child possessed extraordinary bones, an omen of future distinction. Inspired by this prophecy, his father gave him the name Huan Wen, symbolizing high expectations. At the age of 15, Huan Wen's father was murdered. Consumed by the desire for revenge, he swore a silent oath. 3 years later, when his enemy passed away, Huan Wen infiltrated the man's funeral disguised as a mourner and slaughtered the entire family. His talent was undeniable. As governor of Jingzhou, he led a campaign that destroyed the rival kingdom of Chenghan, bringing glory to the Eastern Jin dynasty. Later, he launched a northern expedition and defeated Fu Jian, ruler of former Qin. Grateful citizens in the north wept as they greeted the Jin army, saying, "We never thought we'd live to see our rightful soldiers again." Though his 2 subsequent northern campaigns were less successful, they rekindled hope for reclaiming lost lands. Part 2. Ambition turns to obsession. As Huan Wen's achievements piled up, so did his prestige and his ambition. He often said, "If a great man cannot be remembered with honor, then let him be remembered with infamy." With this mindset, he ousted Emperor Sima Yi and installed Sima Yu in his place, seizing the role of prime minister for himself. At that moment, he stood at a crossroads: consolidate his power to reclaim China's heartland, or pursue the throne itself. Unfortunately, his thirst for absolute power led him down a perilous path. When Emperor Sima Yu fell ill, he issued a deathbed edict naming his son Sima Yao as successor and instructing Huan Wen to serve loyally as regent, in the tradition of great stewards like Zhuge Liang and Wang Dao. But Huan Wen was furious. He had expected the throne to be handed to him. Convinced that officials Xie and Wang Tangji had conspired against him, he stormed into the capital with his army. Panic swept through the city. Many feared Huan Wen would kill the ministers and seize power. Wang Tangji was terrified, but Xian remained calm, saying, "The fate of the Jin dynasty will be decided today." When Huan Wen entered the court, he found officials lining up to bow. He dismissed his soldiers and received the ministers in full ceremony. Wang Tangji, drenched in sweat, even held his writing board upside down. But Xian sat with perfect composure and said, "I've heard that virtuous lords guard the borders. Why then must you place guards behind palace walls?" Amused, Huan Wen dismissed the hidden soldiers. Xian's poise saved the day and possibly the dynasty. Part 3. A dream deferred. Though his bid for the throne was stalled, Huan Wen did not give up. Stricken with illness, he hinted that he should at least be granted the 9 bestowments, a symbolic honor often seen as a stepping stone to kingship. He sent multiple envoys to pressure the court, but Xian and Wang Tangji stalled the process. They deliberately delayed drafting the formal decree, assigning the job to court writer Yuan Hong. When Yuan finished the draft, he passed it to Wang Biao for review. Wang read the elegant prose and laughed, saying, "You're a man of real talent. How could you write such a document for someone else?" Xian made his revisions, stretching the delay over 10 days. Ultimately, the decree was never issued. Huan Wen died before his ambitions could be fulfilled. Though he came close to grasping imperial power, his story ended not as an emperor, but as a warning. Greatness without restraint can become its undoing. Now, let's break it down into the key takeaways you won't want to forget. True greatness is not defined by talent alone, but by how that talent is used. To truly understand whether someone can achieve great things, it's not enough to assess their intelligence or abilities. One must ask, what is that talent serving? If a person channels their strengths in ways that align with the will of the people and the good of the state, their brilliance becomes a force for progress. However, if the same talent is used solely for personal ambition, disregarding the needs and hopes of many, then no amount of skill can prevent eventual failure. Such was the tragedy of a man whose gifts were undeniable. He had the vision to unify a fractured nation, a goal that could have won him eternal honor. Yet blinded by ambition, he chose a narrower path. Instead of pursuing legacy through service, he pursued it through power. And in doing so, he squandered both his opportunity and reputation. This man reached the highest offices in the land. He was a general, a prime minister, and held power over both military and civil affairs. Even on his deathbed, the emperor entrusted him with the role of guiding the next monarch, just as Zhuge Liang had once done in a different era. But for him, all of this was not enough. What he truly wanted was the throne. That ambition, however, served no one but himself. He placed his desires above the stability of the state, and in doing so, alienated potential allies and sowed seeds of distrust. Without broad support, his plans were doomed to fail. Though he died a natural death, his final years were consumed by frustration and disappointment. Even as life slipped away, he could not let go of the dream that had eluded him. There's a Chinese proverb, when the destination is wrong, the faster your horse runs, the further away you get. Speed and strength, when guided by the wrong purpose, become dangerous tools. Likewise, unmatched ambition without moral direction leads only to ruin. Imagine what might have been possible if he had worked side by side with virtuous ministers, if he had united his strength with wisdom, placed national interest above ego, and used his power to uplift rather than dominate. The dynasty might have thrived, history might have unfolded differently, and his name might still be honored to this day, but he chose differently. He let ambition cloud his vision, and that choice cost him everything he might have achieved. In the end, his story stands as a cautionary tale and a valuable lesson in how we judge character. To truly know a person, watch not only what they can do, but what they choose to do with what they have. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into history and insight, don't forget to subscribe for more stories that reveal the wisdom behind the ages.